Hello, everybody. That's some pretty dope-ass armor. Look at the size of that fucking pistola, though. That's a goddamn cannon. When last we had left off, we finally got Nick back. Finally good old Nicky. Back in our partnership. He was dicking around with Piper. But now he's back with us. There you go, Nick. I like that. Alright, so. What are we doing here? Well, actually, let's do that, yeah. I'll go give Piper my fucking story. This stream is rated M for
trying
mature.
to kill us, but the Commonwealth never lacks for excitement.
Sir? Hey, Piper.
Heading my way?
I'm supposed to talk to you.
You know what? Never mind.
You know where to find me.
Piper,
Heading my way?
let's trade.
This is what I've got.
Hell's this
Watch
fucking
your
shit?
back. Institute could be right behind you.
Piper,
Heading my way?
I'm gonna go snoop around in your bedroom.
hey, Piper.
Heading my way?
Alright.
Anything I can do? You just say the word.
One more time.
Piper,
Heading my way?
Ugh. Alright, forget this. Okay. Dildos get really advanced in the future. That just seems like way too much.
Mr. Valentine. I thought you had forgotten about me.
May have walked out of the den, Irma, but I'd never walk out on you.
Amari's downstairs, you big flirt.
Oh.
Dr. Amari?
Yes, I take it this isn't a social... I didn't hear that. What?
Nice.
Yes.
Speak up now. Speak up now.
This one's all yours, Nick.
We need a memory dig, Amari, but it's not going to be easy. The perp, Kellogg, is already cold on the floor.
Are you two mad? Putting aside the fact that you're asking me to defile a corpse, you don't realize that the memory simulators require intact, living brains to function.
Some expert you are. I knew this was a waste of time.
This dead brain had inside knowledge of the Institute, Amari. The biggest scientific secret of the Commonwealth. You need this, and so do we.
Fine. I'll take a look. But no guarantees. Do you have it with you?
Here's what I could find.
What's this? This isn't a brain. This is... Wait. That's the hippocampus. And this thing attached to it? A neural interface?
Those circuits look awfully familiar.
I'm not surprised. From what I've seen, all Institute technology...
Scientists. Skip to the good part, Doc.
We plugged the brain implant into Mr. Valentine, assuming he's willing to take on the risks.
Hell, why not? Plenty of room in my head anyway.
Just don't damage that brain, you two. I need it.
Trust me, Amari's hands are the safest place a brain can be.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Valentine, just sit down.
If I start cackling like an old grizzled mercenary, pull me out, okay?
Let's see here. I need you to keep talking to me, Mr. Valentine. Any slight change in your cognitive functions could be dire. Are you feeling any different?
There's a lot of flashes. Static. I can't make sense of any of it, Doc.
That's what I was afraid of. The mnemonic impressions are encoded. It appears the Institute has one last failsafe. There's a lock on the memories in the implant.
More problems. Seriously?
It's not like anyone has ever done this before. You try making a secret technology work across hardware generations out of spare parts. Just let me think. The encryption is probably meant to keep a single mind from accessing the data. So, what if we use two? We load both you and Mr. Valentine into the memory loungers. Run your cognitive functions in parallel. He'll act as a host, while your consciousness drives through whatever memories we can find.
All right. Let's get started.
Just sit down over there, and keep your fingers crossed.
See you on the other side.
Oh. I love that. Please stand by. Sir.
Initiating brainwave migration between the transplant and the host. Mnemonic activity coming from the transplant. It's degenerated, but it's there. We're going to load you into the strongest memories we can find. They might not be stable. Just hold on. Can you hear me? Ah, good. The simulation appears to be working, although the memories are quite fragmentary. I'll try to step you through the intact memories and hope we find one that gives us some clue to the Institute's location. There. This is the earliest intact memory I can find.
Turn down the goddamn radio! I'm trying to sleep!
Remember, you are experiencing these memories as Kellogg. This may prove disorienting at first.
Mom knew how it was. She wasn't soft, but she loved me in her way. And she protected me from Dad. That cost her more than a few beatings. I never knew what happened to her after I left. I didn't want to know. Not then. I was such a dummy back then. What did I know about how the world worked? I think now she wanted me to kill him. I should have. Instead, I ended up running away. I told myself I wanted to find somewhere out from under the thumb of the NCR and all their rules. But really, I was running from the guilt of not protecting her from Dad. Yeah, it doesn't matter now, though. Dad was either drunk or not around. I guess he must have run with one of the raider gangs, but I never really knew what he did. Don't know why Mom was with him.
This doesn't seem to be what we're looking for.
Maybe at some point in his life he wasn't a complete asshole.
There appears to be another intact memory close to you in temporal sequence. There. Try that one.
I was the worst thing that ever happened to her. If she'd never met me, she'd have stayed in the hub, maybe hooked up with someone who didn't kill people for a living. The thing about happiness is you only know you had it when it's gone. Whatever made me think that a guy like me should have a daughter?
I'll connect you to the next intact memory.
No, I never deserved her. Not for 1 second.
How did you think this was gonna end, Kellogg? You thought you could just fuck with us, and we wouldn't fuck with you? Just so you know, they died like dogs. And you weren't there to help them.
I found another memory to try. I'll connect it.
Mind if we sit down?
Suit yourself. I didn't care where I was going. Ended up mostly wandering east. Getting as far away from San Francisco as I could, maybe. I don't remember much from that time. It all kinda blends together. It was almost always a bar, though. That's universal. There was always a job for someone like me. There was always someone who wanted someone else dead.
Well,
Sometimes
we seem to
just
be getting closer.
roughed up, but
try this next one.
dead was usually what they wanted. Sometimes they thought they could cheat me.
Mr. Kellogg, I'm glad you decided to meet with me.
So, you're with the Institute. I wanted to see for myself if you really... First synths weren't all that impressive. I'm good, but I'm not that good. But the Institute could always make more, and kept making them better each time. First synths weren't all that impressive. You heard all sorts of rumors about the Institute. But I figured they were just a convenient... I finally ended up in the Commonwealth. I kinda ran out of road.
One of these has got to tell us something.
I'd come to terms with life.
We're running out of brain here.
I wasn't gonna be stupid enough to get mixed up with
there's one that
caring
looks
about
mostly
other people
intact.
again.
Connecting now.
Manual override initiated. Cryogenic stasis suspended.
The eggheads never liked taking orders from a dirty, contaminated degenerate like me. But they needed me. And I made sure they...
All computers are still working. That's good. Checking through
The eggheads never liked taking orders from a dirty, contaminated degenerate like me. But they needed me. And I made sure they knew it. Even then, I knew it was a mistake leaving him alive. I understood that kind of revenge. No one better. But I was cocky enough to assume. I never knew why we didn't just refreeze the rest of them. But we had our orders. Guess the old man didn't want so many loose ends. Too.
Hopefully it's all...
Just find it.
Pod C6. Down the hall near the end.
I never knew why we didn't just refreeze the rest of them. But we had our orders. Guess the old man didn't want so many loose ends. Too bad he left alive the one person he shouldn't have. I was now the Institute's main operator in the Commonwealth. If they needed something done, they came to me. It wasn't usual for anybody from the Institute to come along on a mission, so...
I found another
this one stood
intact
out.
memory. Whenever
I didn't
you're
know then who it was we were grabbing from the vault. Of course. Neither did they. Not really.
This is the one. Here.
Open it. I'm glad I didn't have to kill the kid. I'm not saying I haven't done it, but, I never liked to. And yeah, I guess it did remind me of her. Yeah, I'm a cold-hearted bastard for sure, but still human. Better this way, though. Better than taking her kid and leaving her alive.
Is it over? Are we okay?
Almost. Everything's going to be fine.
Come here. Come here.
No, no. I've got him.
Let the boy go. I'm only going to tell you once.
I'm not giving you Sean!
God damn it. Get the kid out of here and let's go. At least we still have a backup.
Cryogenic sequence reinitialized.
What's the holdup?
I'm almost finished, Kellogg. I just need to confirm. Come on. All right, we're good.
Is that your son? This appears to be a very recent memory. So, good news, I think.
Wasn't my idea to settle down with the kid in the middle of Diamond City. I thought it was a terrible idea, actually. But it was one of the old man's pet projects, so here we were. Me and the kid. Like a happy little family. I ended up kind of liking it. A reminder of what my life might have been if things had turned out differently. But there's no going back. I knew it was just temporary. It'd be back to normal business before too long. This whole setup in Diamond City was part of some elaborate plan of the old man's. Seems obvious now that we were bait for our friend from the vault. Timing couldn't have been an accident. It's not how the old man works. I wonder if he outsmarted me in the end. Another loose end tied up.
Kellogg.
It's okay. One of these days you're gonna get your head blown off just barging in here like that.
Minimizing my exposure to civilians is a priority.
Forget I said anything. So what's the new breed of synths could easily pass as human. Some of them did. But the coursers, they weren't built to blend in. They were killing machines, pure and simple. Smarter, stronger, and faster than almost any real human. I'm just glad they were always on my side. Big crisis this time.
New orders for you. One of our scientists has left the Institute.
Left? As in?
He's gone rogue. Name's Dr. Brian Virgil. We know he's hiding somewhere in the glowing sea. Here's his file.
Wow. Some heads are gonna roll for this. Capture and return, or just elimination?
Elimination. He was working on a highly classified program.
No kidding. One of the top bioscience boys? Damn. So, I guess you're taking the kid back with you.
Affirmative. Your only mission is to locate and eliminate Virgil.
You're taking me home to my father?
Yes. Stand next to me and hold still.
Okay.
X688. Ready to relay with Sean.
Bye, Mr. Kellogg. I hope I see you again soon.
Teleportation. Now it all makes sense. Nobody's found the entrance to the Institute because there is no entrance. Let me pull you out of there as soon as you're ready. Slow movements, okay? I don't know what kind of side effects the procedure might have had. No one's ever done this before. How do you feel?
I have this burning feeling inside my skull. It's like it's on fire.
That's not surprising. All the synapses in your brain have just been pulled apart, connected to someone else, and then pulled back together. I injected you with a large stim pack while I was pulling you out. That should ease things. Are you ready to talk about what happened in there?
I saw Kellogg's life. The man who ruined my family. The man I killed.
That's right. He was a human being just like the rest of us, and he had reasons for being what he was, however cruel. How does that make you feel?
It's convinced me that I did the right thing. He was a rabid dog, and he needed to be put down.
I suppose I can't fault you for that. We're getting off track. The important thing is that we discovered the Institute's greatest secret, teleportation. The only question is, what do we do now?
That scientist Kellogg was supposed to track down. Virgil, we need to find him.
You're right. A rogue Institute scientist could answer all kinds of questions. Where did the memory say he was? The glowing sea? That doesn't make sense. No one goes there. Not even if they were desperate.
That's why he's there. To make the Institute think twice about following him.
That must be it. He's using the radiation in the glowing sea like a shield, or a cloak. A way to throw them off and be at an advantage. If Virgil found a way to survive there, you'll have to do the same. If you're going to follow him.
How do I fight that much radiation, Doctor?
There are chemical compounds. Rad-X, Radaway. You'd need as much as you could carry. Maybe more. A sealed environment suit would be great, if you could find one. Or maybe one of those suits of power armor? That would be perfect.
Oh no, I'm not going there. That's crazy.
And plunging into a dead man's memory wasn't crazy? You've already done the impossible. Who's to say God won't let you do it again? Look, think it over if you have to, but it's the only path I can offer. Through the glowing sea to Virgil. By the way, I unplugged Mr. Valentine first. Removed the implant while you were waking up. He's waiting for you upstairs.
Okay.
Nick.
Hope you got what you were looking for inside my head. I was right. I should have killed you when you were on ice.
Kellogg, is that you?
What? What are you talking about?
You sounded like Kellogg just then.
Did I? Huh. Mari said there might be some mnemonic impressions left over. Anyway, I feel fine, so let's get going.
Let's get going, Nick.
Been one heck of a ride so far. Let's see where it takes us next. Hey, let me ask you something.
Sure, ask away.
It's just, with everything that's happened with you and your family, it's a whole hell of a lot to process. I wanted to make sure you're holding up all right.
I don't know, Nick. My family's in tatters. I've been dropped into this place where everything's trying to kill me. You tell me.
Well, I'd expect you to feel lost, scared, and mad as hell. I sure did. Took me a long damn time to get a feel for this place. Thank goodness I found Diamond City. It's got its flaws, sure, but it beats the hell out of anywhere else in the Commonwealth. Of course, when I took up there back when, people were just as scared of the Institute as they are now. Maybe more. The massacre of the CPG was still pretty fresh in people's minds at that point, and folks were still losing sleep over the broken mask. Plenty of people assumed I was just a saboteur, moving in to melt down the reactor or poison the drinking water. But at the time, they couldn't exactly turn me away.
Broken mask?
This was long before I'd moved to town, but apparently some gentleman type shows up in Diamond City, heads down to Power Noodles. Guess he didn't like the food because he pulled his pistol and opened fire on the folks enjoying theirs. When security finally put enough holes in him to drop him, they say he was full of servos and sprockets, just like yours truly. Seems he malfunctioned, went berserk. It was the first time people realized that synths had stopped looking like me and started looking like them. Considering what these folks went through, I felt real lucky they let me in the front gate at all.
Massacre of the CPG? What's that?
The Commonwealth Provisional Government. Years back, a group of settlements tried to get together and form a coalition. Every settlement with even a hint of clout sent representatives to try and hash out an agreement. Only the Institute sent a representative of their own, a synth. The man killed every rep at the talks. The Commonwealth Provisional Government was over before it even got off the ground. I took up in town not long after. I was damn lucky they didn't just tell me to scram right then and there.
Why would you want to live among bigots like that?
Nah, I couldn't really blame them, given the circumstances. But folks sure started turning the other cheek when I showed up with the mayor's daughter. Gal of about 15. Pride and joy of the mayor back then. Man by the name of Henry Roberts. The young Miss Roberts decided she'd run off with some caravan hand she'd, known for an evening. Turns out the guy was part of a gang of kidnappers. I didn't even know who I was rescuing, just stumbled on a crying girl and 4 toughs. I took her home and the mayor dubbed me a hero, offered me a place in town. Lots of folks protested, said I was a spy, but he wouldn't have it. Taking up in the city was tricky at first, but I never tried to hide what I was, and people seemed to warm to that.
Was it hard settling in?
Yeah, they sure didn't make it easy. I started off doing the jobs no one else wanted. I got more banged up being Diamond City's handyman than I ever did living out in the ruins. But I guess folks never forgot I rescued the mayor's daughter, so they started coming to me when people went missing. Wife runs off with a new paramour and takes the rent money with her. Talk to the synth. An upset father decides moving him and the kids to Good Neighbor in the dead of night's not the worst damn idea since the bomb. Go get Nick. After a while, the jobs got so backed up, they didn't even ask me to do the handyman stuff anymore. Hell, I was so happy to do it, it was months before I started charging anyone. I never stopped being Nick the Synth, but it was Nick the Detective folks came to see. It was about then that things finally started feeling normal. It took me a long time to realize that home is where you make it. And with some time and effort, this place can be home for you, too. That's a long story, but I hope it helps. Want to get moving?
Yep. Nick's fucking cool. The glowing sea. Well, I am wearing power armor.
Sir?
And, let's see. I got plenty of Radaway and Rad-X and God. Got a lot of goddamn stim packs. But I think for the time being, we're going to call it a set. I might be back shortly. I might be back tomorrow. I don't know. Bye.